Hello everyone, I have to dig a ditch here in one small section. Here there is a culvert. The ditch has to be dug up to those birch trees opposite, about 200 meters long, plus or minus. I will create a new project from this existing culvert to that ditch at the second end. I will create the project myself and then dig it. I haven't dug ditches in a long time. I will now create a surface. I will take a sloping surface. I will enter the name. Now I will measure point A. That was the total height. Here is point A. I have to drive to the other end. Measure the height of point B. Here is the ditch. The water flows through this ditch here. I will now measure point B. The slope should have a plus sign. The slope is only 0.08%. That's it. I have to drive back and start digging. I'll start digging the ditch from the end so I can drive out this way. Okay. I need to check if it's the same depth. Everything's fine. Now I can start digging the ditch. There's still frost at the bottom. Loading the soil into the machine is definitely much easier now. You can now turn the excavator bucket, if you don't have it at the right angle. I'll dig the ditch a little further forward and then I'll block it. Then I'll clean it out here with a regular bucket. The ground is still frozen, so the ditch bucket walks whichever way is easier for you. That's not cool. It's pretty frozen piece. Yes, it'll be harder to level frozen pieces. There used to be a lower place here. The road was built higher and it stayed lower here. That's why everything is frozen at the bottom here. The topsoil was then leveled on top. That's why everything is frozen down here. Really bad. If you hit another frozen stone or root along the way, it's even harder. Here's how the process will be. It'll be quite thankless. Plus, you have to level the frozen pieces. Yes. I'll have to break up the frost this way. I won't have anything else left. I'll dam up the ditch so that the water doesn't flow. I thought the ground would be less frozen, but it turns out that it's still frozen quite a bit. If you hit trees that are frozen like this, then there's nothing you can do at all. You have to pull them out. Then a beautiful edge will form. In the same way, I'll try try to dig further. I hope that the frost will be a little less further forward, but hardly. I think the scenario will be the same along the entire length of the ditch. But now I also have an option. There is I'll see how it will be easier for me. Here's the usual bucket. Now I can change the bucket much faster, and it will be easier to level ground than with a trenching bucket. I'll see how it goes. I've changed the excavator bucket. Yes, I'll have to work like this from now on. If there's such an opportunity to work like this, it's cool. And you can level the ground faster with this bucket. The whole process is faster. Working is completely different. If you have the opportunity to change the excavator buckets, it seems like it's taking longer, and for what purpose. But in reality the whole process is faster and more efficient. You can level everything faster and move the ground where you need it. With a trenching bucket, there are many places that you couldn't reach when there's a tree or other obstacle. This bucket is more efficient. As they say, now I can work in a modern and efficient way. And here I think I should bring a digging bucket so that I can dig everything up. I'll have to remove the large amount of ground with this bucket. And I'll have to dig the end with a trenching bucket. Otherwise it will be really hard. The digging bucket is narrower, and with that I could dig a little deeper into the middle. Dig it this way. And then finish it all off with a trench bucket. I'll have to think about something. I'll see how it goes. This is how operators have been working in Scandinavia for a long time. I've seen operators dig a ditch. With such a bucket, he digs the entire size of the land, then he puts on a narrow bucket about the same size as mine, 40 centimeters wide, and digs the ditch channel. The sloping sides of the ditch are formed with a regular bucket. He didn't need a trench bucket at all. Ditch channel. Take it like this and create it. There will be extra work here. It's frozen at the top. The trench bucket can't be dug any deeper, so I'll have to dig the edge off. past, when I didn't have such an opportunity, I was simply forced to work with one bucket. I had no options. Many people don't know and don't understand that can be done that way either. You have to change your mindset, that you can work differently. I'll try to get a digging bucket here and try digging with it. I think it would be easier to break the frost with the teeth of a bucket. Now leveling the ground is much easier. That's great. When you dig something with a digging bucket, you can dig out the size with it. And then level the bottom with a regular bucket, so that everything stays beautiful. The digging bucket has a larger volume. That's why you can dig faster with it. Something like this. I will have to work like this. Get a digging bucket here, then I'll see how it goes. It fell out a little unsightly. try that trick with a digging bucket. How will it go? I don't know. If the ground wasn't frozen below here, then I probably wouldn't be able to move here at all. Yes. I have to dig like this somehow. I have to dig a ditch with this bucket. Yes, now I like loading the soil into the machine. It's so easy and very convenient. This way, it's a little easier to work with this bucket. If you have a tiltrotator and you need to do this kind of work, then it's very convenient. You can do everything easily, change ISO buckets. There is also the ripper available, which you put on and tear everything apart. Since it already works in many places, your options increase, but so that you have to climb out for each of these actions and disconnect and connect the hydraulic hoses. It is impossible. It is possible, but very inefficient. And you can do such work then, and that's all. Over time, I will understand how far and where I need to place the buckets, and everything will be fine. When moving like this, you go a little off the required trajectory. The ditch can start to go to one side. That's such a minus. I have a line to follow. Here, a 2-meter ditch has been dug. I will have such an interesting ditch digging here. It will be quite fun. I have already said that since I got the Tiltrotator, I've changed excavator buckets so many times. Working like this, that I've never done it before in my entire career. Now I have been doing it for 3-4 months. This is very interesting. How everything can change.